Hey everyone, it's Andrew Nagel again, and today I'm going to be showing you my weave channel setting. Now I'm working on a custom piece here that has some 14 karat gold accents, and I'm going to be incorporating that into the weave setting as well. Normally I just do all silver so I can keep it all one single strand, but we're going to be mixing that up a little bit today. So we're going to be using our 21G square as our base wire, and then we're going to be using our 22G half round as the stone setting wire. And the little stones that we're going to be setting today are some 3mm diamonds for this piece. This piece is for this guy's mother, and he just wanted to go all out with it, and so he wanted the gold accents and diamonds as well. I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. So to start off, wherever you have the start of your channel setting is where you're going to be putting your base wires, obviously. So go ahead and feed those through. I'm attaching these to some 21G square that's lined over the back here. I have another video in the works that will be called how to attach components to a frame. Just twist that end around a couple of times. And then we will do our next one. Find a good spot for it there. Because there's a couple different ways to attach components to a frame. Put that in there, kind of a tight fit. It's okay. Alrighty, now I'm going to straighten these out a little bit. Well, curving it really, because the start of this one is going to be a little curved and then it's going to open up here. I always like to form my weave channels before I start doing them, just because it's a little difficult to make them and then turn them. I've never really had success with that. So then the other detailing wire that I'm using is my 30G round, and this will be used to create the base for the stone settings here. So I'm going to start with my end, just kind of tuck the tip underneath the 21G, and I start wrapping that around. My cat's messing with a box over here. I don't know if you guys heard that there for a while. I apologize if you did. She's in here right now. She likes when I'm talking to the camera for some reason. She'll start meowing sometimes at me. Alright, so now we've got that 30G attached to the base wire down there. Basically what we're going to start doing is kind of just a cross weave wrapped around these base wires. And so I'm starting over and then I'm going under. Then wrapped around that 21G. Then coming back over and going under again. But this time I'm going to wrap it around twice over here, since we've got more length to cover on this side. going to go over and under again. And once again, when you're back over on this side, where the curve is wider, you're going to go twice. It helps kind of keep this spiral weave that opens a little bit more even. When you've got a wider amount on this side, you know, if you go an equal amount of twists on each side, it ends up coming out a little funky. And so we're going to keep doing this cross weave here. For a good little bit. I like to get a section started so I can attach my 22 half round through the weave, as I'll show you here in just a moment, because we're almost there. I've gone maybe 6 or 7 times up these base wires. You can go as many as you like. I'm only setting 2 stones in this channel setting, so I really didn't need to attach them too early. Cut that bit out. Okay. So once you've gone, you know, an appropriate length up your base wires, we're going to take our half round and with the rounded part facing up, because you're going to be wanting your rounded part, you know, facing up so the flat part faces the faceted stones. We're going to take our tips and feed them through some of the sections here in this weave. I like to get them both into the same section. If you can't, that's okay. Sometimes they go in different ones, and that's a little alright. You don't want them too far apart, though. You want them very close, if not in the same section. I'm going to feed those through, just like that. Whichever project you're working on. These are also really good for setting smaller stones into rings. And then I'm attaching those wires to the back. You want to get these attached before you start setting your stones in there. All right. And again, keeping the rounded part facing up, bend those wires down to your weave. And then start to shape them in just kind of a general direction along with the base wires. They don't need to be perfect because you're going to be doing a lot of manipulating with these. And so this is where I'm going to now take my set the focus a bit there. We're going to take my 30G and we're going to wrap it underneath the 22. And then before going back over to the other 21 base, we're going to take it back over the 22 and wrap it around twice. And then run that 30G under the other base wire. So that way you've got your 30G bringing the two half round together. You can wrap it around a couple more times, but I do twice that way. And then I attach it to the other base wire, good and tight. Wrap that around twice. And then I bring it back under again. And I wrap it around the 22 half round one more time. And then I bring it back to the other base wire. And so now, since I am doing a mixed metal channel setting in here, I'm going to take my gold in this instance. You can use, copper or whatever else to do these kind of mixed metal settings. I'm going to feed first I'm going to get my silver situated under my 30G. I want that sitting underneath everything, so that way it's kind of floating off to this side. Just makes it a little bit easier and keeps both of these thinner wires from crossing so much. Now feeding my 30G through all the way to the bottom, because we're going to attach that to the base. Start wrapping it around your 21 base. And then you're going to do the same thing, bring it underneath those 22. Wrap it around a couple times. I like to do twice. You can do 3 times, but what I notice is 3 times kind of keeps the weaves a little more open than what I prefer. Then I wrap that around that other base, and then back under. And I always take that 30G after it's wrapped around those middle half round wires. I always take it back under this base wire because it kind of helps bring them down. And then around the base again. And now is where we will start to build the stone setting. We're going to take the 22 gauge and pull it directly up, so that way it sticks up like that, basically at a 90-degree angle. You're going to want to kind of open those up just a little bit. And then retaking our silver, we're going to do that cross weave again. And make sure all those wires are tight against each other there. And you're going to want to do it just the length of your stone. So if you're doing, a 5mm stone, you're going to want to do a 5mm length. If you're doing a 4mm stone, same thing, 4mm length, so on and so forth. I'll bring out these stones here, at least one of them. Yeah, looks just about right. Awesome. So now, when you've got your weave just about to the end of that stone, is when you're going to want to start bringing these half round back down. If you're using like a 4mm stone, I would suggest using double strands of these 22, so 4 strands in total, 2 on each side of the stone. And same setup, you just attach them and then weave them in. Sometimes what I like to do is take my pliers and push a little spot down there where I need the stone to sit, especially in a larger path like this. Nope. Happens quite often doing these things until you get that 22 sitting down on it. It likes to jump out of there sometimes. Alright. Now when you have your 22 sitting on top of the stone, like that, you're going to take, I just kind of use my finger, and I hold the wires down on the stone, and then I bend them just across. Across each other like that. And as you see, that creates kind of a opening right over the stone. And being really careful because that stone's really not in place yet. You're going to bring your other mixed metal wire, whatever you might be using, in this case the 18 karat gold. We're going to start wrapping it around that base again, and then back under those 22. And then around where they cross, like so. Go ahead and do that again. And then back under to the other base. And then I like to take my pliers and bring those 22 and just pinch them down like that. Not on the stone, just after the stone. And then bring that 30G back over to the other base and wrap it around it twice. And then back under the 22. And do that twice. And then under our base wire again. Start to get that nice patterned section look there between the silver and the gold. And so basically, repeat the process for stone number 2. Lift up your 22, keep them kind of separate, and then start doing the weave between the base wires again. I'm going to do something just a little different here actually. I'm going to create another little section of pattern here, just because I'm only putting 2 stones in this channel and it's kind of a lot of distance. I'm going to bring that gold back around the base wire again, and kind of as if I had a stone set there. I'm going to just attach that real quick. Twice around the 22. And then back under the base. And so as you can see, I just did that kind of weave pattern again to create just another section there. Now we'll set in that other stone. Kind of the pain about having the camera so close to my hand right there, especially when I get super long wires going on because they start coming really close to it. Don't want to scratch it. Should get a guard or something for it. But once again, once you've gotten your weave section here as long as your stone, time to put the stone on there and bring down your wires. Create kind of a little pocket where we want that thing to sit. There we go. One down, and the other. And then once your wires are over your stone, go ahead and start to cross them. Make sure they're just over the length of the stone. You don't want those crossing too far down, otherwise they won't hold the stone in place. But you do want them to be open enough that it displays the stone nicely. And then again, wrapping that around. Silver's kind of getting in the way here. Wrapping that around that 22 twice. And then underneath the base wire again, wrap it around that twice. And then bring it back underneath. Straighten those out if need be. Wrap it around. Twice again on that 22, and then back under the base. And if you're going to continue on with more stones, you'd want to bend the base wires where you need them to go before you start doing the stone setting. Alrighty, and now I'm going to bring my silver back under, get it really tight on that base wire, and just really push that gold in. Then I'm also going to wrap my silver around this 22. And then continue that underneath that 22, just like you were doing the stone setting with that cross weave. Can be a little bit of a pain in the butt underneath that 22 wire, but that's okay. Curve those down a little bit more. And so what I'm doing here is I'm going once around this side and then twice around this longer edge. Since there's more space to cover on the longer edge, we're gonna, balance out our weave by wrapping that around twice and then bringing it back over to the other base and then doing it once over here. That helps the weave to travel along that curve. We'll bring this down again. Bring the gold under, attach it to one base. It really doesn't matter which side. Then bring it under and reattach it to that wire. Head and wrap it around that base again and then back under the 22. Make sure it's tight around that 22, especially at the end and the beginning and just everywhere when it's attaching to that, because that's really what's going to hold those stones into place. And back around your base. I'm going to continue with that gold just a little bit because I'll be cutting it off towards the end here. We're going to continue the silver on our base. And reattach these 22 wires one last time onto this weave. Especially right where everything comes together, it just keeps it with a nice clean finish. And so at this point, I will be bringing my base wires underneath my bail here, my rectangular wire here for my bail, and you know, cutting off these ends here for these 30 Gs. And when I wrap these around, I'll also be continuing my 22G around the bail as well. The other way you could do that is, let's say that was in a lower section, you could just, you know, feed the ends through and attach them to the back somewhere, wherever need be, either to the frame or to like a bar, that if you have a bar set up back there. But yeah, that would be the weave channel setting. I hope you all enjoyed that. Please let me know what you thought of the video below. Thank you.